Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Entrepreneur Middle East. Today we have a very special guest that arrived all the way from Pakistan. I want you to put your hands together and please welcome this beautiful powerhouse of a woman, Her Excellency Shaza Fatima Khawaja. She's the Federal Minister for Information, Technology and Telecommunications in Pakistan. What a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's a pleasure. It's an honor. It's a lot of things. And I'm very excited to be having this conversation with you today. Obviously, we've heard a lot about Pakistan's new vision, from digitalization onwards. So I think it's going to be a great conversation.
Thank you so much. The feelings are mutual. Super excited to be here with you today.
Yes. How's Dubai treating you? Tell me. How's
Very
Dubai
nice.
treating you?
Very nice. It's Dubai's always been the second home. So I'm only here for a couple of days. I'll be back tomorrow. But
Yeah.
so far, so good.
I assume you have the busiest schedule ever, right?
Yes. That's
You find time for
to,
yourself?
To say the least.
Yeah, exactly. So tell me, obviously, was politics and international relations kind of always a vision that you've had back when you were younger, or it's something that grew with time? How did you end up, being a minister? Tell us.
So basically, started off with the college, and that was my first interaction with studying politics itself. My bachelor's undergrad was in economics and politics, and then I went for my master's to University of Warwick for international relations and global politics. So I think that somehow things have kept falling in place in a way that life has kind of prepared me for where I am today. Over the last, if I look over the past many years, a couple of decades, I feel that all of this was somehow meant to be. And once I was through with my college back in 2013, that's when my political career started with the National Assembly. I was 25. I was the youngest member back then.
Incredible.
And that's how it started back in 2013. And then for the first 5 years, I was the Prime Minister's coordinator for skills development, and I also led as the General Secretary the Young Parliamentarian Forum.
Exactly, the youth, right?
Yes. So basically, it was it's a forum of all the members of the Parliament who are under the age of 40, and so I became the General Secretary, and then I ran it for about 4 years then. So it was nice because it was a cross-party forum, and wherever we would need to have legislation, policy making, some sort of an agreement, that would really serve as a platform where all the political parties, regardless of whether they were in the government or not, would sit together and solve those problems. So it was nice in the sense that it really gave me a flavor of how multi-party parliamentary system truly works, and how do it was a good starting point for my negotiating skills and kind of building consensus and all of that. It was great in that sense. Then we were in the opposition for about 4 years. That was a different kind of ball game altogether. It was more around protests,
Being rebellious.
obviously peaceful, being rebellious, criticizing, obviously constructive criticism, but generally I think that was the fastest and the steepest learning curve. Because, when you're in the government, things are fairly simpler. You have a lot of human resource with you, supporting you. But once you're in the opposition, you really have to critically look at every single thing that's happening. So that was, I think, the steepest learning curve, those 4 years. And then when we came back in the government in 2022, the Honorable Prime Minister allowed me to become his special assistant on youth affairs.
Yeah.
So I did that for a couple of years, and I think that was a very smooth transition into IT, because a lot of work that I did as the special assistant on youth affairs related to information technology, training young people in the field of IT, and generally also looking at the industry, because the industry itself was an industry of youth. So it was young people. These are young innovators, entrepreneurs, the whole startup ecosystem. That was something that I was looking at as an SAPM. And then 2024 came the election. And by the way, this week makes it exactly 2 years now. So February 2024, in the elections, when once again Honorable Prime Minister took office as the Premier, I'm very honored that he selected me as his minister for information technology. Initially, I was the state minister, which is kind of, you can say, deputy minister.
Okay.
But then last year, he pushed me up to become the federal minister.
Right.
So I think that
What a
that's been a
story.
very that's been the journey over the
What a
last
story. But would
13
you say
years almost.
youth plays an important part when it comes to gaining support of the people and of the population? Do you mostly focus on youth? Do you think that's kind of like the green flag and the path that you need to follow in order to get support and potentially win?
100%, 100%, and not just for support, but also I think that the fact that we're in here in this to make a difference and to really create the right kind of impact. I think anything that we have to do with youth is actually the goalpost and the future. Yes, we're about 240 million people, and we have over 150 million who we call youth. So that's a big population that we're looking at. And also, if you look
Similar
at
to Saudi actually and their market.
yeah, but just a little bigger.
Yeah.
Plus the population pyramid, if you look at it, it's very broad at the bottom for us. So we're still growing at about 2.4%. So it's like every year we're adding a couple of million people to the workforce, becoming adults. So I think that's not just the broadest population now as a number figure, but also I think that in terms of the potential of the country, in terms of them being the asset of a country, and if not properly focused on, potentially becoming a challenge for the country. All of that actually combines and culminates. And therefore, I think that, and I also think that that's why being the SAPM Youth Affairs, earlier dealing with skills development, which also had a lot to do with youth, for the last 13 years, that's all I've been looking at. And that kind of is the roadmap to follow,
Right.
to really see how, and right now, if you ask me what's the one thing that would essentially worry me or I feel is a bigger challenge, is that in today's changing landscape with AI and the technological shift, in terms of every single thing,
You lose control?
I think the dynamic nature of and the kind of very fast evolving nature is making it a little challenging for us to see what kind of future roadmap and pathways does our youth have today.
Right.
Because the question is that, is the education I'm giving them today relevant the year after? Is the curriculum that they're studying today, is it going to be relevant tomorrow? The career pathways that they're choosing, if they're becoming doctors, lawyers, architects, everything's changing. And so, that's the kind of thing that we want to look at. It's completely shaking the whole employment landscape, the whole career landscape as well. And therefore, automatically changing the whole economic landscape.
Of course. And it's great that you mentioned that, because whenever I do talk about AI with people and I try asking experts on AI, why is it that here we're setting the trends for AI, yet every time I go back to Europe, people fear it? And then I come to a point of realization where education plays an immensely important part, because you fear what you don't know, right?
Yep.
And if I go back home and I tell them how much AI is helping me here and how much it's not just ChatGPT, there's so many other versions of AI that people don't know about, right? Education is missing. So the fact that you're actually looking at educating them in the proper way, and you're looking at the fact that careers are shifting.
Yes.
How do we stop that fear of people saying, AI is going to eliminate more jobs than it creates, I'm going to lose my job? How do you stop that fear, and how do you stop that distress? By educating the people on, how it was from putting candles and lamps to electricity forming and having more electricians,
Absolutely.
right? So would you say that's your vision for the youth, educating them to
100%.
The future?
So the bigger question that we keep asking ourselves is, what are the jobs of the future?
Exactly.
What is the workforce of the future? What are the skills of the future? And we did a study 2 years back. We're redoing a complete assessment of what Pakistan's future needs are, but we're also constantly benchmarking and now making a real-time platform to see how are different countries and economies responding to the changing dynamic with technology coming in. So you've seen, lately we've seen tens of thousands of people being laid off from technology companies, companies themselves going lean. So then the question then is that, about day before yesterday, I was in an open question answer session with young people, and one of them asked me that what does my future look like? Is AI going to take my job
You have to
away?
be well prepared for those questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So I genuinely think that being in the center of this whole conversation and looking at it from the demand side as well as supply side, I think that it's not going to be AI that's going to be taking their jobs, but people who know AI who are going to take their jobs. So if you and I are in the same profession and you learn the right kind of skills and tools around artificial intelligence and you allow AI to really help you and increase your productivity while I don't, so
That's an interesting.
you're going to be taking my job for sure, because your productivity goes 10x or 100x. And if I'm not catching up with the right kind of skills, that's going to be the problem. So it's not that the machine's going to take my jobs, but anybody who's agile enough, who's productive enough, who's ready to learn and really understand the change of pace that we're in right now, they definitely will be the winners in the system. So I think that when we're looking at our curriculums, we recently had to completely change our curriculum for our undergrad program. We've introduced new curriculums for our primary and secondary schools and intermediate colleges. But the thing is that the question again is that what is medicine going to look like 4 years down the lane? What is manufacturing going to look like? So will I need more carpenters or will I need more technicians? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Will I need more technicians who know how to operate robots that will beat carpenters?
Yeah.
Right. So the nature of work is changing. There's going to be new employment opportunities. But the question is that are we skilling, reskilling, and upskilling our people, all three,
Right.
in terms of what the future is holding for us today?
Because as government, you want to give everybody the chance, right? You want to
Absolutely.
give everybody the exact same amount of education, and then, as you said, it's on them whether or not they're going to take that in and actually
Absolutely.
use it
Absolutely.
properly or not. 100%.
Absolutely.
So, the next question that I obviously wanted to ask you is, what do you think, in 5 years' time, let's say we're talking about AI, what sort of things would it change, in your opinion?
I think coming back to where we were, the most disruption that it will cause will be education. Reason being that, when I was growing up, at least,
Well, we have teachers.
that's the first question. I was exactly coming to the point. When I was growing up, my source of knowledge was my teachers in my school and my parents at my home.
And the respect you have for
Absolutely.
those
And the
individuals.
respect also stemmed for the fact because they knew better, they knew
course.
more. But now with all these language models and these softwares of the world on your fingertips all the time, the question is that I've already started hearing from young people that they do not want to go to school because they can know and learn everything on their devices. So will students want to go to school? Will they see value in going to an institution where they can literally within seconds with a prompt know much more than
And
any
open up a
teacher,
company.
any human can know?
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of them want to just get on to learning the skills and start preparing themselves for the practical life. Degrees, will they still be relevant 5 years down? I don't want to give a verdict, but I'm not really sure. I know for a fact that already big tech companies are employing people not looking at degrees, but actually looking at the actual skills that they have. So the whole
Model.
the whole landscape, the whole ecosystem of education will change. I think that's the biggest disruption that we will see in the coming few years. Individual learning, you have to also see that right now, for example, we're piloting one software in our schools in Islamabad where that agentic teacher actually asks you a few questions as an individual and learns more about you and your learning capabilities, and then tailors the whole curriculum. And you're just supposed to tell them the learning outcome, and it tailors the whole curriculum for you
Around
real
your
time.
personality, behavior, everything.
Absolutely. Every 15 minutes, it'll ask you a couple of questions, understand whether you learned it or not, retailor it real time, and within an hour of the lecture that's there, it will make sure that the learning outcomes are there. Now, that's not something that happens in a regular school with 50 student sitting in front of a single
course,
teacher.
yeah.
That's not that personalized. So that's the kind of models that even we are trying right now in our schools. Again, it's not to say that teachers will not be relevant. The way that we're looking at it is that we're empowering teachers with the right kind of tools. So one is to know what AI is, the programming side of it, the making of AI
Befriend
itself.
it at the end of the day, right?
Yes. The other part is to be able to use AI tools. So giving teachers the right kind of tools so that they can coach young people around the new skills that are there. I think that's the way we're approaching
But
education
honestly,
systems right now.
does it scare you?
Uh,
It's different from what
I
we're used to,
wouldn't.
right?
I would say it's challenging, but it's also exciting. It's exciting to see what will unfold because it's also holding a lot of opportunities that we never thought of. So I think it's going to be. So even if you look at me, right, we have countries who've already launched AI cabinet members. So I was just telling everybody,
UAE is one of them.
UAE is one of them.
Yeah.
So if you talk about jobs, nobody's job is safe. The only question is that. Are we willing to learn and adapt to the new changes that are coming our way? My job is to make sure that everybody has that opportunity, to say the least. So that's what we're trying for right now. But eventually, I think that it's going to be the world is going to be much different from what it is right now.
For let's say my kids in the future. It's
Absolutely,
gonna be something
absolutely.
Interesting. Now, you did mention before that you kind of have to place it on paper and analyze, since things are so changing every second these days. What sort of jobs you need to prepare your population for? Now, here's where I want to also ask you. This is where startups come in and new companies and entrepreneurs. What sort of sectors do you see rising in Pakistan lately? Because obviously, I think startups do sometimes set the trends, right? Because potentially those technologies will come big tech in 5-10 years' time. What sort of sectors do you see very much developing, and potentially maybe you can use this as your benchmark? Okay, let's invest our education systems, I guess, into these companies.
So I think
these sectors, sorry.
Yeah, so sectors, if you ask me, I think for us as government, we've chosen for digital transformation at least 3 core sectors. The first is on the social side is health sector. On the economic outcome side is agriculture, because it is also one of the largest employers in Pakistan.
I wanted to ask.
Yeah. And then the third, obviously, is our government and economy at large. So, last year we passed the Digital Nation Pakistan Act, and we prepared a roadmap for digital transformation across economy, government, and society. So, what we're right now focusing is on making the right kind of Pakistan stack, and then within the Pakistan stack, some sectoral stacks, so that we have the right data, which is interoperable, and then we can run innovation on it, make database informed decisions for the policy making itself, but also to run and make sure that what are those areas that can actually yield the maximum outcome in terms of the kind of investment that we'll be making on them. So these 3 sectors came out as the core priority areas. I'll give you an example. So, for instance, on the economy side, the fintech sector is very, very mature in Pakistan right now. So when you say that what kind of investments will we be making as government of Pakistan, we'll talk about the startup ecosystem as a whole later, but yes, we are supporting.
I heard you have the best programmers and coders as well.
We do. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
With
cyber tech.
We're the third largest freelancing and remote working economy of the world.
Yeah.
We have been declared as the most cost-effective freelancing destination of the world. Quality goes without saying.
Yeah.
So that's something that we're very, very proud of. We saw about 91% growth in our freelancing and remote working exports in the last financial year. So that's something which is rapidly growing. But I think coming back to the sectoral preferences, these 3 would yield the maximum outcome. And putting the government transformation ahead of all of this essentially will mean that it kind of helps, acts as a multiplier and creates the right kind of ecosystem for all of this to actually thrive. So this is what we're right now focused on. We're almost done with our agri-stack with the help of the Special Investment Facilitation Council, which is also running the Green Pakistan agenda. So our agri-stack's almost there. The health stack, again, quite mature right now. Cashless economy, fintech, that's something that's Prime Minister's personally working on. And so is the GovTech. So this is where we are right now.
And I mean, when you did say that over 91% are freelancing, right? I assume a lot of Pakistanis do work for international companies abroad, and they freelance for them around the world. But I guess the vision would be to kind of make them stay in Pakistan and have those salaries in Pakistan, right? And grow your own personal economy, right? I believe that would be,
of course,
the perfect vision in the next 10 years.
Of course. So we have, when I say 91%, we saw 91% growth in exports of freelancers. Overall, we have a 20% export growth for the tech sector over the last 5 years. So that's a decent CAGR that we have. But you're right. So the thing is that I would say how I look at this, people going out and working for companies outside, how I look at this is that we have, like I said, a very large young population. The absolute number is not a concern in terms of who goes out and who stays. But what is of concern to me is that am I able to train an equal number or more of people who are going abroad, so that the supply remains constant, it remains equally well quality, so that my local industry does not feel a dearth of good human resource. So the idea is to support the local industry in the way, and that's essentially the bottom line, I would say, Excel sheet that we run. The spreadsheet that we run for our exports and our local industry's growth is that if I'm able to train 100,000 young people, $10,000 average annual billability, that's $1 billion to the economy. That's the simple mathematics that we run. And based on that, we have our targets from the Honorable Prime Minister, that this is the number of people you're supposed to be training every year. And that's how we're really working it backwards from what our goals are in terms of the economic dividends that this sector can actually give to the country.
And I mean, I did hear that now you're absolutely pushing the whole digital strategy. You are launching also like the FinTech Summit and everything in Pakistan.
Absolutely.
So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
I'm very much looking forward to also visiting Pakistan and potentially being there at the FinTech Summit. I think
absolutely. Most welcome. It will be an honor to host you.
Thank you. I think it's going to be great. Now, I wanted to ask you, you're going to get a lot of, I think, international visitors entering Pakistan at that point. Would you be open to also investing in international companies and bringing talent into Pakistan from abroad?
Of course. The thing is that as a government, we have now a principled stance that government has no business doing business. What we do is that we essentially create the right kind of ecosystem for a private sector. So when you say that attract investment, or when you say that having those companies come to Pakistan, invest, or us investing outside, my primary job is to open doors for my industry, make sure that they sit together on a table, and then all hopes are pinned on them to build the joint ventures, investment relationships. That's my job, is to connect them. My job is to make sure that the policy and the whole environment back home is conducive to their growth and their businesses altogether. So that's how we look at, and that's the lens that we take to see that how do we really push the sector to go further.
Tell me, do you see a future in Pakistan where you have more entrepreneurs? Do you see that as something that you want it to take place? You want more people to open up their companies? Being a Gen Z myself, I know exactly how the mentality is of the younger generations now. We want to have our freedom. We want the older people to trust us with our knowledge and to just allow us and give us that playground to kind of like test our skills and our experience. Would you like Pakistan to be that playground for the young generation when it comes to opening up their own companies?
Absolutely, absolutely. Entrepreneurs, I think, have been and will always be the foundation of our economy and of any economy, so to say. But as far as the whole startup ecosystem goes, the SMEs of the tech sector go, I think having this playground is not even an option right now. It's an existential thing for countries, because it is from these tech playgrounds that the right kind of the new innovations are coming out right now. And all these new billion-dollar companies that become billion-dollar companies within a year or two are actually coming out of such kind of innovative entrepreneurial activities that and are coming out of countries that are allowing them to happen, are allowing young people to take risks, are actually encouraging them to really be out there, experience, experiment what they feel, what they think is going to be the right kind of, like I said, the world of the future. But and in Pakistan, how we're trying to encourage this is that we're trying at least to really support the whole startup ecosystem. So, for example, the Prime Minister has been very, very, I would say, adamant on pushing for a Pakistan Startup Fund. That's what we're launching right now because access to capital is something that has been a challenge over the last few years, especially after COVID. And so the startup fund is supposed to actually seed fund and also provide growth fund to some of our startups that we feel are really working on the right kind of technologies that will be required in the future. We also have a Prime Minister's Cloud Credit Refund Program, again to support startups because cloud hosting is something which is a major cost for any young startup per se. We have launched centers of excellence. So we have a center of excellence for AI already for the past many years. But now we've launched a center of excellence for gaming and animation for the gaming community overall. And the idea again is to encourage young people to experiment in this sector. It has free trainings, free incubation for companies. We're also supporting our startups to go to international accelerators supported by the government of Pakistan because we think that no startup, no young person should be deprived of an opportunity if they get admission to one of the top startups of the world. We pay up for them right now. 13 of our startups are in acceleration programs across the world, including Plug and Play in US, SNVC, Garage, everywhere, and we as government are supporting them and making sure that they thrive. So that's the kind of support that we want to provide to the whole startup ecosystem, and even beyond technology. The Honorable Prime Minister has just revamped our Small and Medium Enterprise Development Authority. And again, the idea is to encourage entrepreneurship on an SME level because any successful developed country that you see, its backbone, its industrial backbone relies on the SMEs. And absolutely. And that's the kind of, roadmap we have and we're looking forward to for Pakistan moving forward.
Now, I do kind of have a tricky question, and since it's not every time that you meet a politician that you could ask them this question. Again, if you don't want to respond, there's no need. We can cut it out. But there is a myth, obviously, that everybody's saying how governments need to control their populations, and governments tend to set sort of like visions to control their populations. And if we increase entrepreneurship and we increase people that have their own companies, we're going away from people actually being part of a system, as our parents were, where they were working in, let's say, a communist country, and you have like your 9-to-5 job, and you come back home, and your weekends are free. And do you think that by increasing entrepreneurship in a way, governments lose control, or do you think that by giving that healthy freedom, it's going to be easier to kind of place in order because you're going to have the happy index that just increases in a country, and people are going to be happy with their doing?
I think so my experience has been that when we used to give entrepreneurial loans, and we still do in the youth program, we would really encourage young people to set up small businesses. Our experience is that every business that was created immediately employed on average about 2 people. And then as it grew, it started employing more people.
Okay.
So even the entrepreneurial efforts, the businesses that will be created, the freedom that they give to founders, but they also kind of become make the ground for hiring off the 9-to-5s as well. So there has to be someone who's working for the companies as well, right? Not everybody's going to become the founder. But the thing is that I don't think that there's any reason still to discourage or throttle entrepreneurship, innovation in the country, because eventually moving forward, I think that is going to be the new order of the world. And I personally, as a member of the cabinet, I do not see it as something that's disrupting control at all. I think that The only thing that will disrupt control, and we have seen it happening in our region with the youth populations uprising, is that if you're unable to keep up pace with what our youth wants and what it feels, if you're not able to do that, and if you want to really herd them like sheeps as to according to what we think is right, that is the only thing that is going to make us lose control. But if we really adapt and stay agile as governments, and we listen and we respond to the needs and the wants of our young people, I have so much hope in them. I think that at least they can take Pakistan so much further than where we have taken it. I see no reason to stop any of that.
What does the Pakistani youth want?
I think that they want opportunity and they want a level playing field. They want every single opportunity that any person their age would have in any of the developed countries. That is something that is critical for them. As far as my sector is concerned, one thing that I want each and every one of them to have is connectivity, a smart device. And I think with these two things, the world is open at their doorstep. There is nothing that can stop them from learning new things, from becoming entrepreneurs, whether they want to become, get into the regular career pathways, become entrepreneurs, start their own startups. The world is just at their doorstep if I am able to successfully provide these two things to them. And that, I think, is really what is going to give them, the young people, the freedom and the opportunity that they deserve to really unlock their own potentials.
What would you say is your quiet superpower as a leader?
I think it would be my ability to understand where the other person's coming from. And
is that female, I think, emotion, empathy, gut feeling, right?
It could be, yes, it could be. But I think that that's something that helps me drive decisions, that helps me navigate people towards consensus building. That also helps me understand what my role should be. Because you see, I, being a minister in a parliamentary democracy, I'm actually the representative of the people. And my job is to put people's problem on the table. And then I have a whole set of bureaucrats, a whole set of specialists, technical people, IT people, consultants.
Do you take it personally when you don't get, you don't get what you want, you don't manage to fight for the vision that you want because A, B, C, D, E is blocking you? Do you take it personally? Is it something you take back home with you and it really, shatters you?
It really depends on what it is. If it's something that I feel is not my expertise, I am very open to taking advice.
Okay.
But if it's something that I feel very strongly about, which in this case representing the people of Pakistan
and
the youth of the country, I would take it personally, because I think that it is solely my responsibility to represent the people and their needs and their wants. And then the whole system needs to solve the problem that is there of our people. Technology is not an end. It is a means to an end, and the means to an end being my citizens' lives getting better. Whether it is the way they interact with the government, whether it is their financial situation, their social lives, their personal lives. Technology, for me, is a pathway to improve an average citizen's living standard in the country. And that is what I am aiming for as my people's representative, as young people's representatives, as a women representative. And then everybody beyond that really needs to, because, after the elections, we come with a mandate. We come with the mandate of the promises that we put on the table. And then once people vote for those promises, those are the promises that we need to fulfill.
Yeah.
And then once we're there, we're working backwards from those promises. And that's how the system essentially is supposed to work. So this is, this I feel that my ability to really understand where the other person's coming from helps me fulfill this task.
Were there moments when, your voice was not as heard as you wanted it to be, since you're a woman, in the parliament, in the ministry? I have to ask the question because you're wearing male shoes every day, right? It must be challenging at times. I'm sure you had situations, right?
100%. So
how do you deal with them?
It happens. I can't say it doesn't. Whereas I do have to say that I'm very, very honored and grateful for everyone uh, who's helped me be in the position where I am right now. I'm the only full minister in the cabinet who's a woman. We do have
Wow.
two ministers of state who are also women. Um, so yes, that is a challenge that I feel sometimes does happen. Not very frequently. Like I said, I'm very grateful because the men around me are very, very supportive
Yeah.
of what I'm doing right now, the sector itself, the position I'm in, and of me as a person.
And you're in the perfect
But
job. I think you need that woman's energy and that you're in the perfect job. I feel like you need that woman's energy and you need that sort of empathy that you were talking about and feeling other people to understand what the youth wants. It would be difficult, let's say, I think, for a male that's a bit more rational in the mindset to leave that sector, right?
yeah, I guess so. I think everyone's been running this sector before as well. I would say it was being run pretty well. Um, but I think that it does make a difference if I'll tell you one area where I feel it's made a difference. I think that with a woman leader, a lot of other women get a seat on the table. A lot of other women feel empowered to be able to speak their mind. That really brings collective wisdom across genders, across people on the table. And the more opinions you have, the more open you are to opinion, the more people you empower to raise their own voices, their own sentiments, the better decision making happens on the tables. So I think what that does is that it really makes the conversation and the decision making inclusive, and that highly impacts the quality of decisions that come out.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I really hope that, you do get more women sitting next to you at the table
Absolutely.
and making decisions together, because that's what makes a change, Yeah, it's sort of mini revolution.
Always
sort
a
of thing,
priority.
right? Yeah.
Always a
Now,
priority.
we do have, a couple of minutes left. What sort of advice would you like to give to all those young generations out there, both in Pakistan and outside? What would be that, last piece of wisdom you would like to tell them?
I think that in a world where they're growing up, this digital first generation that's coming up now, it's becoming more and more difficult for all of us to tell the difference between the reality and the virtual reality, information and misinformation.
What's real, what's not?
What's real, what's not. The boundaries are
Fake
getting
news.
really blurred.
Yeah.
I think what I would advise everyone who's listening to me through your platform would be, especially the younger people, would be to consume knowledge very, very carefully, to be very open and be very mindful of where that information is coming from, to always recheck, verify the information that they decide to believe on, because moving forward, they're going to be bombarded with information that'll really be confusing in the sense that what's real, what's not for them. And sometimes it's going to be casual stuff, like a picture or a Hollywood drama, but at other times it could be really life impacting things. I think the society that our younger generation is growing in, the idea of a rooted society, culture, norms, our ethics, our morals, our even our religious practices.
We need to go back to those roots.
Absolutely. It's going to become more and more difficult for our younger people to understand what is real, what is right, what is not. So moving forward, I think that this would be one thing that I would want to just make them aware and mindful of. We don't want to ban stuff. We don't want to stop them. We don't want to throttle their growth. But we would just want them to be more mindful of the roots of the information that they're consuming. Because this information will have biases. This information will be navigating, will be, I don't want to say controlling, but it will be shaping their perspectives and their perceptions moving forward.
I mean, it was since day one that you get told, don't believe everything the media tells
Absolutely.
you. Right?
But now,
exactly.
Now,
what do you do?
Imagine
I'm grateful. Like we'll keep in touch. I'll cross check and fact check a lot of things with you from
Absolutely.
now on. But yeah, you're right. I think sticking to your values, to what your parents taught you, to your roots, to your religion, no matter if you believe in Allah or Jesus or Buddha.
Absolutely.
It's important that you believe in a power that's bigger than you and an energy that's bigger than you.
Absolutely.
And I think the more of us that follow the path there are, the merrier and the better this world is going to be. So
Absolutely.
For sure. Now, before we finish, you need to pick a card. It's your wild card for today, and then I'll read out the question to you. It's your last question. What's one trait every leader should have, in your opinion?
Empathy.
Okay, nice. That's what we spoke about. Your quiet superpower.
Yes.
Beautiful. What a pleasure speaking to you, Your Excellency.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming for this interview, for coming here to Dubai. We're more than happy to welcome you in the future.
Thank you.
I hope to see you again in Pakistan as well.
Thank you. It was wonderful talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.